103. Here's DeRozan straight away. He'll try for three. He hits the line drive triple, and he was fouled. DeMar DeRozan coming on down the stretch here at clutch time, delivering once again, just like he did Saturday night in Toronto.
Trey Lyles movement.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, just getting started here for the Sacramento Kings. And like we said, the NFL trade deadline is at 1 p.m., so we will have a lot to report on that. The Saints, by the way, are trading Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders. That is per Adam Schefter. Washington adding firepower to help Jaden Daniels make a serious run. And we're going to have that conversation at some point. What rookie quarterback has won the Super Bowl? I don't think we're there yet, but if the Commanders keep rolling, now that Dak Prescott, I believe Jerry on his favorite station said Dak might go on the IR, so Cooper Rush might be able to keep it afloat. But they weren't keeping it afloat means that they were in a good position. They're not even in a good position. So the Commanders could be making some moves. We will keep an eye, and we will go over all things trade deadline once it is over, and we'll talk about that in the 1 o'clock hour. But now the Kings train rolls on as DeMar DeRozan has really cemented himself already as a dude that you can go to when you need something extraordinary to happen. And he's really just nailed everything, Chris. Miami was up by 5 with 1 minute and 11 seconds left when DeMar DeRozan got a 4-point play that started a game-ending 8-2 run by the Kings. The Heat led by 15 early in the third, but they were outscored 37-17 in that quarter. They've been outscored 137-71 in 4 third quarters at home this season. They've been outscored. That's because nobody's in the stands. They've been outscored by 20 or more points in third quarters 8 times in 1,119 games at their current home arena twice this season. That is from the Associated Press. And we're going to talk about the talk here in about 10 minutes as we discuss what happened at halftime. But really, Chris, were you watching, and I'm not saying, I'm always on your mind, but not just me specifically, but were you watching thinking, if the Kings lose this, tomorrow's show could get dicey?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially from, not necessarily even thinking about you. I'm thinking about everybody. I mean, you would not be alone in people freaking out for sure. I think 100% that was going through my mind is if the Kings lose this game, I think that it's going to be really hard to talk people out of this team being the same as last year or just continuing to look like it's going to be a disappointment. And I think that's the part that honestly I was most excited that they get the tip and win the game, because it's funny how a result changes people's thoughts. Like if Domantas Sabonis let's just say that Domas doesn't get that rebound and the Heat get it and the game's over. I think people are just completely upset today, and they're saying, you couldn't get it done in Toronto. You tricked that game off, and then that loses an opportunity to have some cushion against Miami, and now you're in this position, and it's all downhill from here. And it's crazy how just one putback for 2 extra points completely changes it. And I think people feel like, okay, it's a 3-1 road trip. Yeah, it wasn't exactly how you thought it was going to be, but now you have an opportunity against the Raptors on Friday, and then on Wednesday, and then you have the Clippers who lost yesterday to the Spurs. They're coming to town on Friday, and so that's an opportunity to potentially get a win. I think it's just crazy how much things flip with just something as simple as 2 extra points from the Kings there, but definitely went through my head. I was not looking forward to people really being ready to just completely freak out today.
Yeah, and I think the main thing as it pertains to the Kings is how were they going to respond? We understood and we understand that they're going to be some tough road trips, and we're not saying that that's not a big deal, but at the end of the day, you still have to find a way to get it done, because every team is dealing with other stuff. Teams are going to lose games they're not supposed to, right? The Raptors should not have beat the Kings, but they did. Now, how do you respond to this? And we saw how they responded. This is just a funny note, Chris. I ran into this while trying to find the DeMar DeRozan 4-point play from last night, and I ran into this audio from March 15th, 2023. You may or may not yourself even remember this. Here it is.
Vucevic. Precious time ticking away. DeRozan takes the three.
Wow. And that's the second time, Barnes. That's the second time it could be a possible 4-point.
So that was a 4-point play with 11 seconds left in Chicago, and it was Harrison Barnes fouling DeMar DeRozan. What a just a funny turn of events, if you will. And now we are benefiting from DeMar. It was Chris. I mean, it's the exact same play.
It's crazy. And I told you the other day, like the game winner that he tried to take, or the almost game winner that he tried to take, or game tire that he tried to take in Toronto, he's taking that shot too. And that's the glory of having a dude who has been there, done that in the NBA, and has been around the league for so long, is that he's taken every shot. Like, the dude knows how to get to his spot. And that's the most clear and obvious thing from watching DeMar DeRozan for even a second, is that you see that this guy has put in his 10,000 hours. He's put in his shots, and it's just easy. It all looks like drill work to him, like he's done it all before, and that he's so calm, cool, and collected. I mean, especially down the stretch there, I really think that is just being a veteran in this league and understanding that this game can turn on its head at any moment. One shot and the momentum completely flips, and that's exactly what DeMar did, man. Yeah, he hit that 4-point play, and it completely flipped that game on its head. The game was over leading into that shot. DeMar hits it, and all of a sudden, before you could even lose faith, you completely had it back that the Kings could make a comeback if they just got a couple stops, and Lord, it happened. They actually got some stops, and then, of course, Domas hits the really clutch putback layup there, and the rest is history. But that's why you have DeMar DeRozan, is to have somebody besides De'Aaron Fox who will not only take that shot, but will also make it. To me, that's the clear thing about that 4-point play, is just, I don't know who would have had the stones to take that shot in that moment. We talked about it a lot yesterday with De'Aaron taking that final shot. I think a lot of guys probably feel that way on the team, that, oh, I don't know if I should be taking this shot. This is probably, we're down 5. There's a minute to go. I don't want all the pressure on my back. This is what De'Aaron's here for. I'm going to let De'Aaron take it. DeMar didn't even consider that for a second, walked right into the 3, got the foul, got the and one. I think that's exactly why DeMar DeRozan is in Sacramento.
Yeah, and, we have a breakdown on how the big 3, it was really a collective effort. And look, like we said, it's not going to be all Skittles and popsicles, because the usage is still a question, and we'll get to all that. But the Sabonis tip, to me, Chris, if you rewatch it and people are saying, hey, have you seen people trying to bring up that maybe there was a push off or whatever? I don't want to hear any of that. Sabonis, I mean, he had to leave the game for some point quickly. He got hit in the mouth and the eye. I don't want to hear about that end of game specifically. Don't put yourself in that situation if you're the Miami Heat. You blew a lead. The Kings have been on the other side of it, so I'm not even entertaining that. But that putback, that wasn't a bunny. If you actually watch the putback, it was not a bunny at all. I mean, for people to say that Domantas Sabonis lacks skill, I mean, the whole skill thing to me is overrated. When, Kyrie's the most skilled player of all time. I hate stuff like that. They're the most skilled backcourt. I hate stuff like that. But to say that Domantas Sabonis isn't skilled when he does things like that, it just shows that some people are just too obsessed with the bag and doing things like that, when at the end of the day, there is a will, and Domantas Sabonis has that will. We will talk about that talk that happened in the locker room during halftime and really sparked